How's it going, guys? It's Brian. It's been a while. I meant to make a video sooner because my job gave us a whole week off for vacation between Christmas and the New Year. I wanted to get this done earlier during the week, but some other things came up, so we're getting this done now, but still before the New Year, so whatever. But I've had my Wrangler JL Sport Unlimited for about 3 months now almost, and I figured I'd do a 5 things I love themed video about my experience with it so far. I'm not sure if that's like a played out theme or not. I know it's been around for a while, but we're gonna do it anyway, so let's dive right in. All right, so 5 things I love about my Jeep Wrangler JL. So to start out, I'm actually going to start her up. It's right in here. So, case in point, I love the refinement of the Wrangler JLs when compared to other generations. Specifically the TJ as well as the JK. I think Jeep or Fiat Chrysler, whoever, really upped the ante when it came to refining the interior. Now, it's still a Jeep, it's still a Wrangler, so it's not, you know, Audi refinement, but relatively speaking, you know, the interior in here is a huge step up. Just from like the materials that it's made out of. It still has plastic every which way, but it's still tasteful, and it seems to hold up pretty well. But just the interior, it's much more, I don't know what the antonym for neutral would be, but it has a little more flair than the other models did. Just regarding like the gauge clusters, the infotainment center, the layout of the entire car is just, it's a little bit more refined in my opinion. And not only that, but just the ride quality is just unparalleled. Like, I took my TJ out of the garage to stretch its legs, and just I was riding and it was like, Jesus Christ, this is a rough ride. You know, again, it's not a luxury car or even within the realm of that, but it does have a relatively speaking better ride, and probably the best ride of any Jeep that I've ever had or ridden in. So again, it gets a huge point for refinement. That's the first thing I love about it. You know, my wife and I drove down to our in-laws in Georgia. So that's like from New Jersey, that's about a 10 to 12 hour drive straight across. And it was comfortable. It was not stressful. It was enjoyable. And I think that was part of it. It was just how refined this car was. Like, I could never see driving my TJ all the way down there without really suffering a little bit. But so that's the first thing that I love about the JL. Second thing I love about it, and this ties into the transmission type, but I love the 8-speed automatic transmission this Jeep comes with. It just flies. And I've never had a transmission like this before. Like in my Mustang, it only had a 6-speed automatic. You know, the TJ has a 3-speed. You know, but it's just so efficient, and it makes it so, the acceleration is so smooth and fast. I mean, this car only pushes, I think it's 285 horsepower at the crank. And when you factor in the curb weight, you wouldn't expect it to really move that quick. And it's not a fast car, but it's also no slouch. Like, I have no problem getting up to speed in highway traffic or merging, or, you know, whatever scenario you throw at it. And that's really pretty impressive considering the aerodynamics on this Wrangler are worse than the aerodynamics of a cow. And that is an actual thing. Go look it up on Google. Look up Jeep Wrangler aerodynamics versus cow aerodynamics. But regardless, you know, the 8-speed automatic transmission is flawless. It occasionally trips over itself. That's not uncommon with these transmissions that have a larger amount of gear ratios than that go beyond 6. I know the A10 transmission in the Mustang, a lot of owners say that it doesn't slip or anything, but it does like tend to like trip over itself sometimes. Like it's not sure what gear it wants to be in at certain speeds or certain scenarios depending on the throttle input. But you know, it's a great transmission. There's a reason that they've been using it in so many applications for the past 3 or 4 years. I love it. You know, it has the manual setting also, but you know, I don't really use that unless like I'm bored and I'm just playing around. You know, besides that, third thing that I love about the Wrangler is the fact that they did maintain the 3.6 liter V6 motor. Now, a lot of people are kind of iffy about it after Jeep got rid of the 4 liter inline 6 after the 2006 model year. A lot of people were very suspicious of the new motor being put in, and it was the 3.8 liter, which also was just not the best motor, so it just left everyone with a bad taste in their mouths. And then when they came out with the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, people were still didn't trust it completely. And up until I started looking at newer Jeeps, my impression of it was, all right, well, it's better than the 3.8 liter, but that doesn't say much. But then when you factor in that they've had this in the, you know, Wrangler models since the 2013 model year, or 2011, it was either 2013 or 2012. I forget which year they changed over from 3.8 to the 3.6. But it's a pretty solid motor for what it is. You know, it's a V6. Yes, they used it in the Chrysler Pacificas or whatever the minivans they have now, but it does what it needs to do. I don't know about off-roading. Like I'm pretty sure it hits peak horsepower and torque a little bit higher in the power band, which isn't ideal for off-roading, but it's not like a deal breaker. There are other variables you can control to make that usable. I've driven, you know, the 3.6. I've driven the turbocharged 2 liter in my brother-in-law's Wrangler down in Florida, and that was a blast. I've driven my mother-in-law's 3 liter turbo diesel in her Gladiator. So I've had exposure to all 3 of the motors, and they all shine in different ways. You know, the 2 liter turbo just is like a seat of your pants. Oh shit, I don't think this Jeep is supposed to go this fast. The 3.6 liter gives you the same feeling, but it's a little bit more linear and it's not as abrupt, but it does what it needs to do, and it's definitely the fastest Jeep that I've owned. It definitely puts the 4 liter in my TJ to shame when it comes to acceleration and putting the power down. Not that that says much again, but I'm just saying I'm impressed by it. So I do enjoy the 3.6 liter that's in this, even though it is the base motor, but I'm impressed that Jeep kept this motor around, because it's like when you look at Ford with the Mustangs, when they first came out with the S550 Mustangs, they had the 2.3 liter turbo, the 3.7 liter Cyclone V6, and then the Coyote V8. And they killed off the V6 after, I think it was 3 model years in 2017. So kudos to Jeep for keeping the V6 around and just still acknowledging that it's a great motor. But that's the third thing that I love. The fourth thing that I love is the roof, the roof system. So this has the hard top. I opted for a hard top. I didn't really want a soft top, just because we were going to be using this year round. And I like that these have the Freedom panels. The Freedom panels are really awesome because you don't have to commit to pulling the whole hard top off if you want that open air experience. And I always wondered, even with the TJ, and I know they make an aftermarket roof that has this for the TJ, but I was like, it would be really nice if I could just pull some of the roof off, so I don't have to commit to taking the whole roof off, and that's like a whole hassle. But it's great. I do appreciate that it has the Freedom top. Now I know that's not unique to the JL, but it is a beneficial aspect of it that I do enjoy. Other than that, I do appreciate, as far as the fifth thing that I appreciate, I do appreciate the Apple CarPlay that is in this vehicle. I haven't had that much exposure to newer infotainment centers, excluding like the Ford Sync that was in my old Mustang EcoBoost, but I do love that this has, an infotainment center that has Apple Play and Android Audio. It's great that I can just, instead of worrying about updates and this, that, and the other, I can just plug in my phone and it basically just, screens my phone on this screen, and I can use Spotify and Google Maps. Excuse me, I was like almost choking on my own spit, but Google Maps and all of that. It's a great setup to have, and I know, again, that's not unique to the JL, but I do really enjoy it. It's great. I haven't had any bugs with it, really, that I can think of. It's a great option to opt for when you purchase one of these. I don't believe it comes standard with every single Wrangler. I don't think it comes with the Sport by default. I think it comes with the Sport S and everything after that. But really enjoy that. And that's really it. I've kind of touched on everything that I enjoy about this Wrangler. And part of the reason I wanted to do this was because my past two videos were inadvertently kind of had negative connotations because it was an issue with the battery and the way that they engineered this Wrangler to handle the automatic stop start, which you can look at in my other videos, but I digress. But I wanted to make a video that kind of highlighted what I'm enjoying about this car. Because excluding that battery issue, it's been a blast to drive. I've loved every second of it. I've driven it more than my Mustang, and I've actually had to discipline myself to say, hey, you've driven your Jeep 4 days this week to work. You need to drive your Mustang at least once a day. First world problems, I know, but I digress. But yeah, these are the reasons that I love this thing. I hope to hold on to this for a good long while, and that's really it, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know some of the things that you like about the newer JL model Wranglers. And like and subscribe. Leave comments down below in that regard. And if I don't get back to you before the new year, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Take care.